It all began on a quiet Thursday night. I was in the living room with Courtney, my wife of 5 years, when she said something that made my stomach tighten instantly. "Matthew, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice low and uncertain. It was late. Too late for heavy conversations, but I could see it in her eyes. Something was wrong. Her gaze was soft but troubled, and I knew this wasn't going to be one of those nights we could brush aside. "Courtney," I said, trying to sound calm, though a flicker of anxiety was already creeping in. "What is it? You're scaring me." She took a breath, steadying herself. "It's about Jason." My chest constricted. Jason, her ex-husband. I knew they had a past, but I never imagined it would resurface like this. I'd only met him once a few years back. He was sharp, successful, and made more money than I could dream of. Even though their marriage was over, I always felt like he had some invisible thread still tied to her. "What about Jason?" I asked, doing my best to stay composed. Her words came out fast, like she was trying to get it over with. "I saw him today, and then he called me after. He said he wants to see me again." That sinking feeling in my gut deepened. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but my mind was already racing. "Why would you even see him?" I asked more harshly than I meant to. She flinched slightly but didn't look away. "I don't want anything from him, I swear. But he's been messaging me, calling. I didn't expect to run into him today. It just happened." I cut her off, my voice tight. "And you didn't think to tell me? You know how I feel about him." "I didn't want to upset you," she said, barely above a whisper. "I thought it would stop. I thought it would just go away." "But it didn't, did it?" She shook her head, eyes clouded with guilt. "No, it didn't." I leaned back, trying to collect myself, but it felt like my thoughts were spiraling out of control. Why was she only telling me now? Why had she kept this secret? "I'm not going back to him," she said finally, locking eyes with me. "But I don't know what to do. I feel like he won't leave me alone." I swallowed hard, forcing myself to stay steady. "So, what do you want from me?" She looked down at her hands, fiddling with her fingers. "I need you to trust me. I don't want him in my life, but I need you to believe that." I wanted to believe her. God, I really did. But deep down, something didn't feel right. This wasn't just a casual interaction or a one-time thing. I could sense there was more under the surface, and I wasn't sure I was ready to find out what. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Little signs piled up, moments where she seemed distracted, messages she quickly closed, late-night phone calls she didn't explain. And then it all came to a head. One evening, I came home worn out from a long, stressful day. All I wanted was a hot meal and some peace. Instead, I walked into the kitchen and saw Courtney sitting at the table, scrolling on her phone while takeout containers sat on the counter. Again, I didn't even try to hide my frustration. "You know," I said, trying to keep my voice even, "it'd be nice if you cooked once in a while." She didn't even look up. "I'm sorry, honey. I was busy." "Busy," I repeated, the irritation seeping through. "Busy with what? Instagram? Another episode of that reality show." She finally met my eyes, set her phone aside. I was researching design ideas for the living room. "Right," I said, the sarcasm thick in my voice. "Because clearly redecorating is more urgent than cooking dinner." Her face tightened. "I work too, Matthew. I work hard to keep this house looking good, to make sure your clothes are clean, that you have a place to come home to." I let out a bitter laugh. "Running the house? You mean ordering DoorDash and letting the dishes stack up?" Her voice rose. "That's not fair. I do more than just sit around. I take care of you. I keep you happy." "Happy?" I shot back. "You think I'm happy? Being reminded every day how much I don't make? That I should be grateful for whatever little effort you give because I don't have Jason's bank account." Her expression flickered like I'd struck a nerve, but then she straightened, arms crossed. "If you made the kind of money Jason did, maybe I wouldn't have to worry about cooking at all." There was the name again. "Wow," I said, leaning against the counter. "You really went there." "Jason again." She looked away briefly. "I didn't mean it like that." "Of course not. I snapped. It just slipped out, right? Like always. Every time we argue, he shows up. It's like he's still living here. Don't twist my words, Matthew. Did I? Because it sure sounds like you measure everything I do by what he did. Every gift he gave. Every dollar he spent. Every comparison. You don't even hide it anymore. She pushed back from the table. Standing now. I never said you were failing. You don't have to, I said coldly. It's in every look, every comment, every time you bring him up. Jason, Jason, Jason. I'm sick of it. Silence stretched between us. The kind that's louder than any shouting. We stood there, two people in the same room, but suddenly worlds apart. And just like that, something between us cracked, something that wouldn't be easily put back together. She opened her mouth as if to reply, but no words came out. For a fleeting moment, her expression softened, and I allowed myself to hope. Maybe she realized how cruel she had just been. But just as quickly, her defenses rose again. You're overreacting, she said dismissively. I was just frustrated. You came home grumpy and started a fight over dinner. Overreacting. I repeated, my voice rising. I work long hours every day so you can have a comfortable life. When I get home, I don't think it's too much to expect a home-cooked meal instead of takeout. The tension was thick, suffocating. Years of unspoken resentment seemed to surface all at once. We barely spoke the rest of the night. I didn't want to argue, but I couldn't ignore the growing feeling that we were stuck, trapped in a pattern we didn't know how to break. The cracks in our marriage, once hairline fractures, had begun to spread. Courtney eventually stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. I sat at the kitchen counter, staring into nothing, knowing that this wasn't really about dinner. It was about everything we'd failed to talk about, every problem we'd shoved aside. Bitterness lingered in my mouth like a bad aftertaste. I found myself wondering what we were even trying to hold on to anymore. The next morning, I woke up to an empty bed. No scent of coffee brewing. No humming from the kitchen. Just silence. A note on the kitchen table in her rushed handwriting read, I'm sorry. I'll be back late. See you back late. What did that even mean? Was she going to her sister's? The thought struck me hard. I stumbled through my day, distracted and disconnected, unable to focus at work. The fight replayed in my head on a loop, each word echoing louder than the last. When I got home that evening, the house was dark. Courtney still wasn't back. I called her, but the call went straight to voicemail. My concern quickly turned into panic. I called her parents. Nothing. Hours passed, and every one of them felt heavier than the last. Around midnight, my phone finally rang. It was her. Matthew, she whispered. I'm sorry. I went for a walk. I needed some air. Where were you? I demanded, my voice sharp. I've been worried sick. I just needed to be alone for a while, she said quietly. I didn't mean to scare you. You didn't mean to? I snapped. You left without saying anything, Courtney. There was a pause before she responded, her voice cooler. I'll be home soon. I didn't say anything more. I just hung up, feeling a mix of relief, confusion, and anger. Half an hour later, the front door creaked open. Courtney walked in, eyes avoiding mine. I'm going to stay at my sister's for a few days, she said flatly. I need some space. I stared at her, stunned. She began packing, slowly, calmly, like this was completely normal. When are you coming back? I asked, my voice softer than I intended. I don't know, she said, zipping up a suitcase. I just need time. She didn't wait for a response. She picked up her bag, walked out the door, and was gone. The days that followed were unbearable. No texts, no calls, just silence. I tried to throw myself into work, but something deep inside me wouldn't rest. Something didn't feel right. 3 days later, while I was at my desk, my friend Alex came over. He looked uncomfortable. Matthew, I need to tell you something, he said carefully. I saw Courtney the other night. She was at a bar downtown with another guy. My stomach sank. Who? I asked, already dreading the answer. They were laughing, sitting close. Then they left together. They hugged as they walked out, he said. I pressed him for details, and as he described the man, I knew immediately it was Jason, her ex-husband. She had claimed she didn't want to see him, had promised she had no feelings for him. But apparently that wasn't the truth. Something deep inside told me I needed answers. So I hired a private investigator. The very next day, the PI got back to me. Courtney had gone out to dinner with Jason. They were close, intimate. Afterward, they drove to his place. On the sidewalk outside, they kissed before heading inside. He had taken photos. Clear, irrefutable evidence. When I saw them, my chest tightened. It felt like my entire world collapsed in a moment. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. She was cheating on me, with him. The next morning, I met with a lawyer and started the divorce process. There was nothing left to salvage. Later that day, I drove to her sister's house, photos clutched tightly in my hand. When I arrived, her sister greeted me, puzzled. I didn't wait. Where is she? I asked. Courtney entered the room, face guarded. What's going on? I threw the photos on the table. This, I said, this is what's going on. She froze, her face draining of color. Matthew, no, I cut her off. This is what you meant by needing space. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said, voice trembling. I was confused. Confused? I echoed. You ran back to your ex. That's not confusion. Courtney, that's betrayal. I never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. Too late, I said. I've already filed. We're done. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, Matthew, don't leave me. But I had nothing left to give. I turned around and walked out. The divorce went through quickly. Courtney moved in with her sister, hoping to rekindle things with Jason now that she was free. But Jason didn't want a relationship. He wasn't looking for anything serious. She had gambled and lost. Eventually, she came back, trying to make things right. I made a mistake, she said through tears. Please, can we try again? But I'd already moved on. I had found peace. I'm sorry, Courtney, I said gently, but I can't go back. I deserve better. She left, and with her, the last remaining pieces of what our marriage had once been. I had finally closed that chapter, ready to face whatever came.